It's an interesting daf. At the minimum, it's an interesting daf.
Shakespeare interesting or Musser interesting?
Both. No, not Shakespeare. Musser. Yeah, a lot of Musser actually. Actually, a lot of Gishmaka Musser. Okay, we got enough Chevra on. Sorry about that delay. Tomorrow night, before I say tomorrow night, will be about Be'erich 8 o'clock tomorrow night. That work? Mincha Myers? I mean, Plug for sure. Plug is over at 8 o'clock. Yeah. Yeah. So 8 o'clock. I'll send it out a reminder. Okay. So let's go. Yeah. We're on Chaf Aleph Amid Aleph. A major daf tonight. So v'yesh schus toila gimel shonim. So we said that if she has a schus, can you hear me? You can hear me clear? Yeah. Okay. So if she has a schus, then she can go up to 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. We had 3 months, 9 months, 12 months, all sorts of opinions. So the Gemara asks, chus demai, what schus does she have? Right? That's meaning, what are her schusim? So we asked that yesterday. What exactly is it? So Elam is schus to Torah. If you're going to say it's schus of Torah, right? Ha'ena mitzvah v'aisa. She's not mitzvah v'aisa. She's not mitzvah v'aisa in Torah, which is stam. I don't know. Why would we think that the schus, is that the first guess that you would make about a woman? That she has a schus would be Torah? Right? I don't know why the Gemara jumps to that. But okay, but the Gemara says if it's Torah, that can't be, because we know the din that's gadol mitzvah. It's not a din, but the rule of gadol mitzvah. Say yosem mishaina mitzvah. So meaning somebody who's commanded to do something gets more schar than somebody who's not commanded to do something. Right? So therefore, since she's not commanded to do it, so therefore she gets less schar. Right? Now the reason for that is you'd think, well, somebody who's a volunteer should get more schar than somebody who's required to do it. But Taisus and Kedushin says no, because when you're required to do something, there's a shibud. There's like a yoke on you for to that you have this, that you're mechuyev to do it. A volunteer can drop out at any time. Right? So since he could drop out at any time, he gets less schar. Either way, so it can't be that
she has less schar. So what are we trying to improve over here?
Well, we're trying to figure out what schus would get her enough of a schus that it would last her another few years, until she gets her final punishment.
How are we supposed to know that? I thought we don't know any of these things.
Yeah. Well, that we're trying to. Well, I think after these Gemaras is when we come out that we don't know anything. I think that this is l'chayr is the process.
What's the
Right?
problem? There's a lot of mitzvahs that noshim are mitzvah in. So what's the problem? Is it learning about the mitzvahs that they are mitzvah also?
Oh, so yeah, but so you mean, yeah, so Enochanami, you're right. Those that she should l'chayr get. That's a good point, Rachman. She should l'chayr get the same schar for learning if it's as a man, if it's a mitzvah that she's mechuyev to do. Right? I hear that. That's a good point.
It's Yaakov, they bring that child down from the.
They do?
Yeah. They say
how
that
much is she supposed to learn? She's supposed to go to Kailul?
It's not the inherent learning on its own. There's an inherent mitzvah of learning on its own that women are not mechuyev in. It's only learning. So that mitzvah is not. They have to know, but it's not the same level as learning independently for the sake of learning.
Yeah, but l'chayr they're going to get schar as the same. Since then, we said yesterday, Rabbi, that I think yesterday, 2 days, that any mitzvahs, the women are mechuyev, just mechuyev to learn the halachas that pertain to them. They're just as
right. But
mechuyev.
that's part of doing that mitzvah. He's saying it's not the actual learning on its own. It's part. It's a hechsher mitzvah. It's sort of like a hechsher mitzvah to that mitzvah. That's what he says.
Okay, very good.
The Torah, the schus of learning the mitzvah. Okay, all right.
Right.
That's it. What's the share? That it should be a schus already. Learn 6 hours a day, 12 hours a day.
Right. I don't know. Yeah.
Well, during Daf Yomi
Sotah, it depends who their chavrusa is. They can get big sky, even if depending who their chavrusa is, they can get big sky even for 6 minutes.
Now I know where all my zuchusim come from.
There you go. Yeah. Hey, Jesse, what you're saying, I think, is we're going to get to more towards the bottom of the daf. Either way, so the Gemara says it can't be schusat Torah because she's not getting that many schusim. That's the mitzvah. Must be she has schus of doing mitzvahs. Right? So if she does mitzvahs, and again, it doesn't say how many mitzvahs she has to do. It doesn't say how long she has to do it for. It just says the schus of the mitzvah. Right? Okay. So then Gemara asks a long kasha now, but not a hard kasha, but the long kasha. Schus the mitzvah. Mi meganya kule hai. Is the schus of a mitzvah going to protect her so much that when she's supposed to die now, she'll stay alive for another 3 years? But Tanya, Rabbi Menachem bar Yosi, Rabbi Menachem Yosi, mitzvah Torah are. Right? It's ner. There's the ner. Is a ner and Torah is light. Tola kosev is a mitzvah bener, but a Torah ba'or. So the pasuk is discussing a mitzvah. It's the mitzvah is a candle, and the Torah is or. As a mitzvah bener loimer loch man ner einu megina el lefisha. Just like a ner, it only protects you for a little bit, meaning until your candle runs out. That's it. Af mitzvah einu megina el lefisha. A mitzvah only protects you for an hour. Besa Torah ba'ar. What does Torah or mean? Loimer or megin lo'ilam. Just like an or goes forever. Af Torah magina lo'ilam. So Torah goes forever. I'm not exactly sure what that means. That it goes forever. Meaning, what I mean, it gets dark, right? I think just when it's light, it goes forever. I'm not exactly sure how that muscle works.
If you had a plant that needs light, and you turn on that light for 10 minutes, even if after you turn it off, the plant got that light. So the world, whatever light you produced by your learning, that light stays. It may not be lichtig in the room, but the light that went into the world from that mitzvah, that learning, is blob. It stays here. So the room's not light, but
the candle burns out.
Candle burns out.
Candle burns out.
Yeah, light another cigar. That's a different issue.
Very good. I like that part. Rachamim. Right. Then va'omer, and then this island should recognize these psukim. B'salecha tancha oisach. Right. When you're going, it's gonna go with you. B'salecha tancha oisach zeh olam hazeh. When you're going, your Torah is going to go with you. That's an olam hazeh. B'shach b'cha tishmar alecha. When you go to sleep, when you lay down, it's going to watch you. Zumisa. It's going to protect you when you die. Meaning the Torah. This is why we say this psukim by asiyim, right? So it's going to how do you say it? But when you're alive, so the mitzvah is going to help you, and when you're dead, it's going to help. Not mitzvahs. I'm sorry. Torah. When you wake up, it's going to talk for you. Lasid lavai. That's going in lasid lavai, right? That you're going to be protected. Lasid lavai also, right? So marshal adam show you mahalach be'ishan laila v'afela. It's a mashal to a person who's walking in the dark. He's afraid of when you walk at night, you don't have light. So you're afraid of the thorns and holes in the ground and barkanim, what do you call those things? Also types of right? Mechayera, and you're scared of wild animals. I'm gonna list them and from robbers. And you're in the pitch dark. You have no idea where you're going. So if you get what we call a flashlight, you get a torch. So you're going to be saved from the easy things, from the thorns, from the holes, from the whatever the other types of trees. But a torch is not going to help you for wild animals and for ganavim. And you have no idea which way you're going. So even but once the morning star, how does it go when the dawn, which is a mashal for Torah, nitzel mechayira and alistim, because once it gets light, so the chayira, I guess they go to sleep or whatever, they see it's light, so they're a little bit more scared, and from the crooks also. still don't know which way to go. You still lost. So Higia Drachim, when you get to the Parshas Drachim, means to the not crosswalk. How do you call it?
Crossroads.
Crossroads, yes. Itzel Mikul. Then you save from everything, right? So basically, this is all a mushal for the torch is a mushal for mitzvahs, and the daylight is a mushal for Torah. That the Torah, learning the Torah, saves you much more than the light. Davar acher, Avera mechaba mitzvah, and Avera puts out a mitzvah, meaning it'll extinguish a mitzvah. Rashi says means the schar of the mitzvah. Vein Avera Torah, Avera will not be mechaba Torah. It will never erase Torah. Shenever mayim rabim leyuchlu lechabe says ahava. Allah able to put out love, right? So meaning love. Shirashim, the love is referring to Torah. So you see, the bottom line is from this whole Gemara, you see that Torah gives a lot of protection. Mitzvahs, not so much. So how could it be that if the woman just does mitzvahs, her life is going to get extended for up to 3 years, right? So that's the kasha. So
Don't we have a limud elsewhere that Ein Mayim Ela Torah?
Yes, we have
It's
Ein Mayim
the opposite.
Torah. Yes, I don't know how all this. I don't know, Gershon. Yeah. But anyways, so Amar Rav Yosef, mitzvah, by a mitzvah, be'ina da asik ba, when you're busy with the mitzvah, magna umatzla. So then it will, magen means from magen, will protect you, umatzla, and it'll save you, right? Meaning, so it's going to be magen you from getting punished, and it's going to save you from doing averas. Be'idna da lo yasik ba, but when you're not doing the mitzvah, agune magna, it's going to still protect you from being punished, but atzula lematzla, it's not going to save you from doing averas. Right, so basically what the Gemara is saying now, that a mitzvah can protect you while you're doing the mitzvah, but it'll not prevent you from doing averas. But Torah, bein be'idna da'asikba, bein be'idna da'loyasikba, magno matzla. Torah, if you're Isaac in it, then whether it's at the time you're learning or after you're learning, you're not going to end up doing averas. Which, okay, I don't know exactly what that means. How long does it make you not do averas for? So you learn for an hour and then you're good to go. Yes, I don't know. Okay, so
I understood it like David HaMelech. He wanted to get. He couldn't. He has to continuously learn Torah. Finally, they got him to.
As long as he was learning, he wasn't getting anything bad.
But
Right.
maybe after you learn a share, you think about it. So you're always learning.
Oh, so very good. There's a Taisus that's going to say that. We'll get to that soon. Either way, okay. Well, let's go back because the Gemara is going to slug up this anyway. So, Rabba, Elamiyata Doig v'Achitoifel. Doig and Achitoifel were two of David's. They were Talmidei Chachamim, and they both messed up David. Doig was with Shaul. He ratted out the whole city of Noiv, and Mela, and then that whole Noiv was knocked out by Shaul. And Achitoifel went against him because he went with Avshalom. Whatever it is, they were both Talmidei Chachamim. They were both Rebbeim of Rebbeim of Toivel for sure of David, right? They both went against him, and which was a big avera. So how come the Torah didn't protect them from doing an avera, right? Which you could ask this kasha on. Unfortunately, thousands of Talmidei Chachamim, unfortunately, that went off, right? So that can't be. So the Gemara changes the Elo Marava, right? So said Torah be'idna da'asikba, a Torah when you're busy with the Torah, and it will protect you and it'll save you. Learning Torah agune magna, it will protect you from einish atzule matzah, but it's not going to save you from doing averos, right? So that's basically the answer. What we're saying is that Torah, while you're learning, it will protect you from doing averos, right? But when you stop learning, you're no longer protected. But mitzvah, but a mitzvah, whether it's at the time that you're doing the mitzvah, whether it's not at the time you're doing it, agune magna, it's going to protect you. Atzuli lematzla, it's not going to save you doing averos. So mitzvahs will not save you from doing averos. Torah will while you're learning, but mitzvahs won't, right? And both of them will protect you though from punishment. So if you do mitzvahs and you learn Torah, you will be protected from punishment. That's what the Gemara is saying now. Fine. Ravina Amar. Ravina says, La'ilam. So that's the first pshat. So the first pshat is that they did mitzvahs, and the mitzvahs give some sort of protection, right? And from punishment. That you see. Ravina says a different pshat. La'ilam schus Torah. Really, they have the schus of Torah, right? This is a major line right here. And if you say, oh, but they get so much schar because they're not mitzvah v'aisa. Yes, that's true that they're not mechuyev to do mitzvahs, to learn Torah. But ba'agra, the Makarian and Masani and Benayu, and but for the agra means for the prize, for the reward, that they makrin masnin Benayu, they, how do you say it? They prepare the kids for to learn. But natrin lahula gavrayu adasam bebedrashin, they wait for their husbands until they come home from yeshiva. Miloi palgan badayu. So don't they split the schar with the men? So since they're involved in the kids learning and they're involved for waiting for the husbands to come home from besmerish, so memela that they have an equal portion in the husband's learning, right? So that's a major thing. The only problem is I never heard this complaint about Zoom, right? So now we have to switch it and say, well, the Olam's not learning in Besmerish, the Olam is learning on Zoom. So we'd have to, is there the same schar? The husband's home, waiting for the husband to get home, right? Because they don't want to be home. I'm assuming the pshat is that they don't like to be lonely. They want the husband, right? So are they losing the schar?
It might be a bigger nisayon to know that he's in the house and then can't disturb him.
Oh, I like that pshat.
They go next door to the neighbor and speak Lashon Hara.
Meaning you think they're not going to find something else to complain about?
Oh.
What about the goiter that takes the kid to the bus stop? Yeshiva.
What about the goiter that cooks Shabbos and the goiter
that I cannot. I drive by on Broadway sometimes. That's
That's a good point. It's a good point that the woman is giving up on her big chalik of the mitzvah.
Yeah.
Right? But she's preparing for a whole shir. She's saying a whole sikha.
How many of the women who are having the gaita take the children to the bus stops, husbands are sitting and learning anyway?
No, the schar for bringing the kids to yeshiva.
Yeshiva, that's what I'm saying.
No, they're saying the schar for bringing the kids to the yeshiva. So you're saying they're giving up that schar to...
That schar, yeah.
Excuse me, the women are encouraging their kids and their families to do what the right thing is. So that's what they're doing. The guy is just a shliach.
Oh, yeah, that's what it is. That is what it is. But that's what the Gemara says, the major Gemara, that the women are getting the star for taking care of the kids, getting them off to school, and for letting the husbands learn. Okay, my parshas drachim. What does it mean parshas drachim? So far we said that the torch will give you light in the dark. That's mitzvahs, and the daytime Torah. But we didn't say what parshas drachim is. So we're gonna have a bunch of pshat. Amar Rav Chisda, is that Talmud Chacham b'yom mis Talmud Chacham on the day he dies? Meaning, this is a little bit scary. Meaning, the only time you could be 100% confident that he got through all of the difficulties of the world is when he's dying. Like he knows, okay, that's it. That's it. I survived. I survived humankind, right? So that's what it means by the crossroads. That's when you know. Rav Nachum Yitzchak is zeh Talmud Chacham v'yiras chet. It's a Talmud Chacham with yiras chet, right? Meaning he learned enough that he no longer is fearing chet. Marzuch Amar zeh Talmud Chacham t'salka leishmaitza aliba de'ilchasa. It's talking about a Talmud Chacham who learns Gemara according to halacha, meaning he's able to learn a sugya to come out with clarity from the sugya. And therefore, he hopes that his Yetzer Hara will be squashed because of that. Davar acher, Aveira mechaba mitzvah. Another pshat is an Aveira is gonna put out a mitzvah. Ve'ein avera mechaba Torah, but an avera will not be mechaba the Torah. Right? Some of Yosef, right? We said that was the second. Amar Rav Yosef, Darshi Reb Menachem Bar Yossi Lahaikra Kisinai. He darshan this pasuk mamish like it came from Hasinai. Vilmale Joshua Doeg v'Achitophel Hachi, and had Doeg and Achitophel, we just said before, went against David, and they were wrong. Had they darshan the pasuk the way Reb Menachem Bar Yossi darshan it, then they would not have gone against David. Loyrotu basa David, they would not have gone after David. Chsiv Lemar Elikim Azavoy, because they thought Hashem gave up on David HaMelech. My Dorish, what they darshan v'lo yir b'cha erev David, because it says you shouldn't do anything having to do with erva, right? And David and Bathsheba, so that was erva. So I thought, okay, for sure, David's going to get punished. Ve'ein and yoidin shavera mechaba mitzvah. Avera, yes, and Avera will put out a mitzvah. Ve'ein Avera mechaba Torah. Avera will not put out Torah. So David, even though he seemingly messed up with Bathsheba, but he had enough Torah to get him through it, to get him through the punishments. Okay, fine. So then my boys Yavuzulai. So the end of that pasuk.
Yeah, how are you anybody supposed to understand that?
I have no idea. That's why I was hoping to just go through it.
Okay, fine. So go
But the
ahead.
Mishnah says,
You have the
Ashar and Shav mitzvahs. You don't know we don't know how to make the cheshbon, but there is such a cheshbon. So that's all you need. What else more do you need to know? There's a cheshbon.
Whoever says that he was a chayta, he's only making a mistake. Torah. Why do you think that
Okay,
he's a chayta?
good. Enjoy that one, though. It's good.
But
Okay.
The difficult part is also how far does your Torah last you? How much does it last? Whatever it is.
He saw a 10-year-old girl going on taking a bath, and then he sent her husband out on a suicide mission. But it's fine. It's lovely. Good.
That was a different story. No, that was Abigail.
That's Abigail. Okay, but
those are two different stories.
That's true. Okay, that makes it worse.
Well, 1 second. The Bathsheba story is the one that they have tinus in, not on Abigail.
Well, no, Abigail is not.
It was not. It's not the same thing as Ashes Ish.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Didn't we have this Gemara in Shabbos?
In Avodah Zarah, I think. In Avodah Zarah, no.
We didn't get that by Zarah, yeah.
Up to Avodah Zarah.
I guess I did it.
We had it in Shabbos. The pasuk considered it as if he was
by
chayte.
heart.
Right. Yeah. But anyways, the bottom Taisa says that a Talmud Chacham l'chayra is always thinking and learning. I think it's the bottom Taisa or the one before that. I'm sorry, the second the bottom Taisa says, meaning how can a Talmud Chacham, so he's learning, but he sometimes doesn't learn, right? So he says no. The Taisa says, "V'yeshem stam Talmud Chacham terasai umnasai." A stam Talmud Chacham, the Torah is his work. V'aisik ba umahar kol shah ve'ein halach dalat amas b'loy Torah. So therefore, he's protected. Okay. My boys Yavuzulai. What does it mean that they're going to be mavazim? So Amar Ula like Shimon Achei Azariah. This is not like Shimon Achei Azariah, but like Rabbi Yochanan the Bein Nasiya or Rabbi Yochanan the Bein Nasiya, who had a Yisachar Zvulun deal, and Mamela they shared the schar of the money and the Torah. Ela Hillel v'Shavna. What it means that it's the bizayon is like Hillel v'Shavna. What's the story? The Chiyasar of Dimi Amar Hillel v'Shavna Achihav. Hillel and Shavna were brothers. Hillel asik b'Torah. Hillel was learning Torah, right? Which we know that he learned Torah without any money. Shavna of it is, Shavna was a businessman. At the end, Shavna went to Hillel and said, "Naroi b'liflik. Let's mix let's mix our things together. You'll give the Torah that you learned, and I'll give money, and that's it. It'll be a good deal." But Yatzabaskov Amra em yitain ish as kol hain beistai. Even if a person was going to offer all of the belongings of his household, right there, it still doesn't work. So meaning, what this is that you can only make a Yisachar Zvulun deal with somebody for the future learning. Once the person already has the learning, you can no longer say, hey, all those, you learned the Bismarck for 10 hours. Let me give you $100 and split that schar with me. That doesn't work. You can do it mitchila. You can't do it backwards. That's what it means. Boys yavuzulai. Right? The binyan's
Can you still take the money?
but you could take the money. The guy's not going to get the schar, so you're going to sucker him. Right?
So you mean all the plaques up for the future?
So that's the question. It's a big sugya here. In order to get the schar learned, you have to be a Yisachar Zvulun. Let's say a guy supports a koil for a month. He doesn't get the schar of the learning. It seems like not. Seems like the reason that Yisachar Zvulun works is because the Yisachar, who's the learner, has Yishuv Hadas, that where his money's coming from, and he doesn't have to worry. Mashenkin, when you just give money to a koil, it's very nice, but you're not really giving them that Yishuv Hadas. Right? When it's a business deal, it's a
Excuse
business
me,
deal.
they're getting a Yeshiva Das that they're getting a check every month.
Yeah, but they don't know if the check's coming, and they don't. I'm saying they don't know when it's coming. Time to give a donation doesn't work. If you're a steady donor, and Yanachanami, that would be more.
It's Yaakov, a shver. Is a shver considered a Yisachar Zvulun?
It's interesting. It would be a smart thing to do.
Why is that not be'etzem the stomach? If you support somebody for a few years, if the parents make up as supporting somebody for a few years, why is that not considered creating Yishuv Hadas?
Yeah, it is, but I don't know when you have to make the deal up. Does it have to be drawn up, or does it not have to be drawn up? It seems like there's contracts that have to be drawn up, right? Much long true. Rada says, if you want the guy, the donor wants to have half the car, he's got to give half his profit, right? So you got a multi. Moshe says it. You want to make yourself a zvulun, the multimillionaire's got to split his millions with the Kylo guy if he wants to do it.
I know, but that's the way. That's not what everybody says.
Sure. What do you mean? If it's a 50-50, I'm learning, you're providing, right? So you want 50%.
Who said it's 50-50? Who said it's 50-50? I'm getting schar for that amount of money that I'm giving you.
That's not what the Gemara here says. The Gemara here says, let's mix our stuff together and split it.
Yeah,
Hillel did that.
That's what they want to do, and they told me it can't even work. But according to Ramah, you can make any deal you want. The guy can make any deal.
No. Tommy's come Narav. Let's join together.
And split.
And split our schar.
Reb Zev, of all people, you should be happy with this. Why are you fighting it?
I didn't. Parrots. When you want to talk on the side, that's one thing. We're talking and learning now.
Yeah.
Can I talk and learning? We're starting a coil in South Bend. We can split the schar here too. It's much cheaper to split it here too.
You better get on a richer Zoom, my friend.
I didn't see his face. I don't even know who I'm splitting with.
The coil gets paid on time.
Simon, why don't you just recruit Zevi out there for a month? He'll take care of it.
I need him for 36 hours, so that's all we need.
He can accomplish it.
Yeah, but anyways, that's the way Ramesha says it. But you can make any deal you want. It has to be made. It only works mikano lahaba. It does not work lemafre.
So you're saying that anybody who supports a koil or anybody who's supporting people in koil Eretz Yisrael, unless they split the 50-50, they're not. It's not a Yisachar Zvul?
It's not. What do you mean? The guys, I bet you half these koil guys would say, you're giving me $500. I'm giving you half my learning. You're ripping me off.
I get it. So
Which guys?
I'm asking you a question.
Yes.
If a guy doesn't give 50% of what he makes,
according to Ramesha, it's not a Yisachar.
So let's say a guy's making 100,000, 50 grand a year, and he gives money to, and he has no way to do Yisachar Zvon unless, I guess not. No, he's not making enough money to live. Right?
Finds a koil guy. Finds a koil guy that's willing to put that money. Yeah. But again, that's what Ramash says is the default. But if you can make any deal that you want, you can make any deal you want. But it's like it has to actually be expressed. It does just because you give a guy some money doesn't mean you're getting half out of his learning. That's all. Anyways, okay, on Talmud Beis. Yeah, now we get next tomorrow. We said a person is chayav to teach his daughter Torah. Anybody who teaches his daughter Torah, teaching her how to be promiscuous. Yeah. So the Gemara says, if you teach her Torah, you're teaching her to be mezana, right? It's as if you're teaching her tiflis. Again, a very, very difficult Gemara to understand, right? But Rashi says, because since you're going to teaching her the ways of the Torah, and the ways of the Torah is like kashas and tirutzim, and how you get around things, etc., etc. So Mamela, she's going to learn how to be sneaky, and she'll learn how to be mezana, and she'll be able to know how to hide it. Because
at my meeting,
that's really great.
Don't teach it from the Masechta Sotah.
That's really great Torah. So that's what we're proud of.
No, that's why he's saying not to teach.
We teach Ani Yosef Becharcha. That's the we have to teach her 3 words. Ani Yosef Becharcha. That's it. That's what the Gemara is saying. That we're sneaky. That we're a bunch of sneaky mamzerim. The Klal Yisrael. That's what the Gemara is saying.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, the Bava Metzia also. You could say mine. I'm not mine, but none of it is mine. To make it. Yeah, that's exactly it. Unfortunately, we see that a lot of didn't do get the wrong.
Right. Or Abba, you could say that maybe that if a woman learns Torah, she's not, her makeup is such that she might come to do sneaky things.
That's not what the Gemara is saying. The Gemara says if you teach her,
because women have different ways of thinking than men, correct?
Correct.
I've noticed that, yes.
Right. So if women think differently and you teach them Torah, they're gonna come to misconstrue it and do it and do sneaky things. Okay. Men think maybe more logical, they think more emotional. So maybe
could be.
Maybe that's the shot. I don't know.
Right.
I once heard a shot from a review it's that women want to know the bottom line. Give a shear to women in halacha and men. It's a different shear. You can't start with habaminas maskanas. They want to know, tell me what to do. Now, as we all know, also all of us brilliant minds on this chabura all know that we come out of these gemaras with absolutely no clarity whatsoever. Right? So men can deal with a lack of clarity. Men are fine with it. Women are not fine with it. So you just make them a sugar. That's all.
Some of the men on this year don't handle it so well.
Okay, but again, that still doesn't fit into the words of the Tiflis of Rashi.
I've been told women don't care about a bore or a shore that I'm never going to own. I don't get the hypothetical of the Gemaras.
Right, exactly. That's what he's saying. That's what Rabbi Berkowitz is saying. Yeah. Anyways, I just wonder if that okay. What's that? Let's go.
I used to have a Rosh Hashiva that said if you tried to explain to a woman what migu means, he said you'd be running into problems all day. Migu.
Yeah, but why is it Tzviakov? Why is it tiflis? Why isn't it Geneva? Why is it like why?
I don't know. What? I don't know. I don't have a good shot. That's you.
Geneva, maybe, or not telling the MS, or I don't know. Why is it tiflis?
Well, Amish don't know. I don't know the shot.
If anything, I would think that tiflis the other way because women are much more conscientious about this subject than men.
Maybe, I don't know. Well, men don't have a homicide about them doing something wrong. Women do. However you understand that.
Right. Okay.
So my time with Rebbe Eliezer. What does Rebbe Eliezer say? Ani chachma, shachanti arma. I am chachma, and I'm going to be living with arma means how do you call it? Deceit. Once a person gets smart, that's what happens when you learn. And you get a lot more chachma, then you start learning how to do shticks. So Mamela, Rabbi Eliezer does not want women to be learning metals. Women are pure souls, and they are way more erlich than men. And Mamela, why mess them up with all the havami and all that type of stuff? Just let them be straight and pure, right? Okay, Rabbanon. Hi, ani chachma ma'avdile. What are the Rabbanon? It's interesting because it's not Rabbanon, it's Ben Azai, right? But what does Ben Azai do with this pasuk? That when you learn a lot, it can make you be deceitful. A person of Torah will not last in somebody unless he literally makes himself naked on it. Meaning he has to have nothing else going on in his life other than Torah. Shenemar ani chachma shechanti arma. I'm chachma and I'm living in somebody who's totally has nothing else. Right? Amar Rabbi Yochanan ein divrei Torah miskayim elav misha meisem atzmei kamisha einay. Torah doesn't last only on something that he makes himself as if he's a nothing. Meaning he has to be humble. Shenemar, because it says va'achachma me'ayin timtza. A chachma comes from nothing. Right? So now there's a very interesting Likutei Halachos. I'll send a picture of it because I don't have a Likutei Halachos. That's the Chavetz Chaim wrote on the Masechtas that don't have Rif. He basically wrote like a Pirush HaRif on all the Masechtas and Shas that don't have Rif. It's amazing work. It's an amazing work, maybe even more than the Mishnah Brura. But it's like it's under the radar. Whatever it is, Eliyahu Ikvik bought me a version of it with the muga inside of it. That means either Chavetz Chaim wrote it, that he looked it over, whatever. So I used it today to look up this Chavetz Chaim. Chavetz Chaim says this that women can't learn Torah. That was in the old days where they had hadracha from their family and they didn't move away, and there was pure from like al titash Torah simecha, and a girl was around. But now with all the traveling and people being all over the place, secular, or are mechuyev to learn Torah bizmanenu. They're mechuyev Torah because they have to see the Torah hashkafa. He says especially when there's secular hashkafa going on, they need to learn Torah. He says chumash. And he says, I think medrash. I don't remember. I'll post it later. Right? To which there's a machlokes. I got an email today about a guy that sends out all these interesting emails. So he sent out that the Sama Rebbe writes beferish that Rechavetz Chaim only meant for actual chumash, not Rashi, not mefarshim. I don't know, but that's the Sama Rebbe says. Whatever it is, it's a major Likutei Halachos. It's a major Likutei Halachos to know. Fine. Weiter. Rabbi Shua.
Is a man allowed to say over Gemaras to a lady? It's a Shabbos Suda or something?
The yeshivas are all learning. Hold on a second. Hold on one second. The schools are all learning nowadays. Mefarshim, Rambans, and all these type of things. The seminaries. So, what's the difference if they learn that? That's Torah Shebal Peh. What's the difference if they learn that, or they learn Gemara, right? Did I lose everybody?
Hello?
Yeah.
Still here.
Sorry. Saying the taina with that is what if they're learning mefarshim, so they might as well learn Gemara too, right?
Yeah,
it's true. Medrash is the same thing as Gemara.
Is that why a lot of them are learning Gemara?
Could be. I don't know why we draw the line by Gemara, but okay, I guess because Gemara, like this Gemara is saying, it's the learning Vertelach and learning Hashkafa and all that is not the same as learning Gemara.
I don't know, Tiago, I didn't want to bring it up yesterday, but I saw an article that the Stern College is canceling 3 Gemara courses, and then in their graduate, they're also due to lack of students. So I don't know. It's the Nyana Diyama.
Oh, yeah?
Maybe they're all taking LGBTQ classes instead.
Why are you sending to Stern College?
Parents is taking cooking classes there. He wants to maybe jumping.
Oh, that was the reason why I never went there, because they had
Gemara
Gemara classes. I said, it's not for me. Now that they're canceling it, I may end up in Stern.
Aaron, that's insulting to parents. He could be teaching the class when somebody's a professor.
Okay, maybe.
Yeah. All right. So anyways, bottom line is
They don't know which Rabbi Stein they're getting. That's
I'm the one with smicha, Bar.
That's right.
Well, there's different types of smichas, para.
We had that yesterday, Tiago, before you got on. Rabbi Aaron gave me smicha.
Ah, I hear. Okay.
I don't think anybody shows you this people.
It's smicha busser.
That's good. Keep the cholav out of it. You're right. Okay. Weiter.
Yaakov, just quit, mamish on what you just said. I remember we used to go to the Shimon and his rabbits on Friday nights when we went to my in-laws for Shabbos. We would go there Friday night when the Z-Sultans lived in Borough Park, and we'd have these long schmoozing Friday nights. And the Rebbetzin would say over Malbims, like from outer space, like, what unbelievable stuff. And in one conversation, I remember I used the word Kal v'chayma. She was telling me Malbims from all over the place, and I just said the word Kal v'chayma. And she said, what? I said, Kal v'chayma. And she looked at me, and Shimon started laughing. He says to me, how would she know? She doesn't know the word Kal v'chayma. She never heard it in her life. She doesn't know what it is,
Yeah, that's okay, but yeah, I guess he didn't teach it to her either.
That's right. And they used to learn. They used to learn together. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I hear. Okay, next interesting Gemara. Vishuaim writes to Isha. So a woman would rather have one kav than not. How does it go? How does the Gemara say it? That a woman would rather have one kav. Doesn't say what. A kav of one kav and tiflus than 9 kav and precious. So what does this mean? So Hachikama writes to Isha b'kav v'tiflus. Imay, a woman would rather have a kav, the way Rashi says it, she'd rather have a kav of food, only one kav of food, and have a husband that's around. Mitisha kav and uprishas, better that than 9 kavan of food, but she doesn't have her husband around. Right? The way Tosfos basically says that a woman would rather have a husband working local and not so much money than a husband who's running around and is hardly ever home but earning her a lot of money. Right? That's basically.
So I guess Rabbi Akiva. His wife has no kav and no tiflus.
So you get to the story of Rabbi Akiva. Correct. Yes, that is true. That is true. Yeah, the Chavetz Chaim says it could be. It also has to do with Torah too. And the Likutei Halachos there, it says. He says, "Am I frozen? Am I good?" So he says
You're
also
good.
too that with Torah too, because if you learn a lot of Torah, it makes you have precious, and a woman wouldn't not necessarily want that. So yeah. Anyway, so that's how we. Okay, that's Gemara. Fine. Who are you? I'm a chassid shaita. Right. So he said,
you learn a lot of Torah because that's how it's like once a week or whatever.
Yeah, maybe that's a shot. Yeah, that could be. Yeah.
Do we have that? You have to get permission to go from a camel driver to a.
Yes, you do, right? We have that in Ksubas. You have to ask your wife permission, right? If you have one type of job when you first get married and you change jobs, you have to ask your wife for permission. 100%. That's a good point. Very good. Yeah. So then he also said it's chassid shaita, and there was a list of 4 things that make the world in a bad place. Hechidami chassid shaita. What's a chassid shaita? Going to katava itza benara. A woman is drowning in the water. Va'amar lav arach ara listakuli ba batzula. I'm not allowed to look at a woman and save her. So therefore, he let her drown. That's a chassid shaita, right? Because obviously, that's it's pikuach nefesh. Now the problem with this is if it's arayas, then arayas is not doicha. That's l'chorah the pshat here. Arayas is not doicha death, right? It's from the big 3. So really, somebody does have to die. So
he doesn't have to take his clothes off to go save her. He can. She's drowning over there. Who says he has to go and go with Derek Precious?
What's
What?
a
Wait a
a
minute.
one
What?
second.
It's a riot?
What do you mean? It's looking at another woman. Doesn't mean it's not his wife.
I understand, but that's called Gile Arayis, or that's
What
Rabbanon.
what does the Gemara mean that you look at the woman and is going to save her? What is he? What is he? A Superman?
No, she's drowning.
I know, but it just says he's not allowed to look at her. What's looking at her going to do?
That's
Istanbul's
the
Barayas
that's the
is
chassid
L'Shem Erba.
shaita. That's why it's called the chassid shaita.
I'm saying, but how's he saving her anyways?
He's going to jump in and save her.
That's not what it says. It doesn't say about touching her.
That's an extreme. I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. So I don't know exactly. Basically, he's being extreme. But the bottom line is that if it's somehow a chiba, if it would be a derech chiba to save her, then you have to let her die, right? Isn't that pashut?
If it's derech chiba, then you will. Yeah, I guess.
If it's
What are you
derech chiba,
saying? Like the skila woman, right? So she's naked because we're not chayshish for anything. That's what he's saying here. I can look at her if I don't save her, but if I save her, I can't look.
right? Maybe. Listen, I had one Misa once with a guy whose wife was dying after childbirth. She might be dying. She was bleeding. They thought she was going to die. And she asked the husband to hold her hand. And he said, no, you're a nida. I can't hold your hand. Right? Lamaisa Baruch Hashem, she survived and she's okay. He asked me, was he right or wrong? I said, I don't know. I could hear it because Lamaisa, holding her hand wasn't saving her. Holding her hand wasn't saving her. Right? It was to save her, then Avadi has to save her. Right? But it wasn't.
Could it be different by a wife because it's paspasalo?
I don't know enough of this to know this, but he spoke to Rabbi First from Chicago. He asked him, and Rabbi First from Chicago said he's a chassid shaita.
Meaning she's right.
Yago, I heard somebody say something like that over also, that his wife fell out of the bed or something, and he ran to find a nurse instead of helping her get up. And then he asked about it. He thought he was so proper. He asked about it, and the guy called him a shaita.
Yeah, so you have to know again.
No chassid, just shaita.
Yeah, but that's different because help her up is not derech chiba necessarily, right? It's not derech chiba. Here, the holding of the hands it's derech chiba, and it wasn't saving her.
So I asked you, is it paspasalo? Could it be different?
I don't know. Anyways, okay. Weiter. Let's. So that's what chassid shaita is. Okay. Hey, chidom in Russia.
Can you ask about her finesse?
Yago, maybe she's a goisis, and it'd be even more awesome.
Yeah, no, but she wasn't holding by goisis. She was holding by amish sakonas nefashos, but she wasn't. You're right. If a goisis, it would be awesome.
Maybe ask about her finesse when you.
I'll try if I remember. I'll remember. Yeah. Okay. Weiter. Hey, chidom in Russia. Aram. What's a Russia who's also means naked, but means that he's a Russia who's going to be conniving, right? Or deceitful, whatever it is. So there's I think 5 or 6 examples. What he does is he tells his words to the dayan, meaning as they're waiting, well, that's what it sounds like the Pashup shop, but it can't be. Sounds like while they're waiting to go to the court case, he says to the dayan his side when the other baldin's not in front of him. So he's basically winning the dayan over, which, by the way, if you know about dealing with these cases, that works 1,000%. The guy who gets the ear of the rabbi first, unless the other guy can mamish change his mind, it's an uphill battle. So either way, it can't be that that's the case because it's usher for the dayan to hear one side without the other side there. So it must be that he told it to the dayan, and the dayan wasn't expecting to be on the case, and then he went on the case. Right? So
that's what Misa with your father. You know that, right?
So what?
I came over to him and said, I'd like you. Here's the case. I want you to be the dayan. He says, "Thank you very much. You just told me the story. Now I can't be the dayan."
Right. Very good, Tucker. Yeah. I don't remember that story, but yeah. Fine. Okay. So that's one case. Listen to this one. This is a real interesting one. This actually happens with Medicaid. It's somebody who gives a dinar to an ani, lahashlam le masayim zuz, to finish off his 200 zuz. What does this mean? The Tanan, misha yesh le masayim zuz. If you have 200 zuz, lo yito leket shikho peya, u'maisar ani. You're not considered ani. If you have 200 zuz in your bank account, you are not considered ani. Hayole masayim chasar dinar. Let's say you have 200 minus a dinar, so you have 199. Then afilu elef noisin like achas. You could even give him 1,000 dinar, meaning even though that's going to put him way over the top, but you're still allowed to, because at that point he's still considered ani. So you can give him as much as he wants. Hareza yitul, he's allowed to take it, right? So Mamela, what this guy did is he only gave him 1 dinar, so that puts him at the 200 threshold, and now he's no longer an ani. So what'd you do for the guy? You gave him 1 dinar, right? You did it worse for him. Right? You did it worse. If you're going to give him, you really want to take care of him, give him a lot. Don't just give him 1 dinar to put him over that limit. Okay, that's 2.
If a person wants to get on Child Health Care Plus in Lakewood, and says, I'm not taking a job yet because
right, it could sometimes, right, exactly.
I'm not taking a job yet because once I take a job, I'm not going to be eligible. But now I'm not working, so I'm allowed to take it, and they'll leave me on for a year or 2.
Why Lakewood?
Yeah,
that's where Child Health Care Plus is. That's what I know. You're right. I don't know.
No, but sometimes sometimes the work will say, I'm giving you the salary, and the guy will say, I don't know how often this happens. The guy will say, do me a favor, give me less of a salary so it doesn't push me over the top. And the work
when I worked for a certain balabas, and we had to work there, Lo Yitzlach, and he paid him exactly, he would be under the line. So he got Medicare, Medicaid, food stamps, rent sub Section 8. He made like $15,000 or $18,000 by not making another $100 a week.
Yeah. So that basically what the Gemara is saying to do.
Right? Yeah, that's what they did. Yeah, that's what they did. Yeah.
Right. And if somebody's going to come and tie to them that it's not right, you're going to say, what do you mean? The Gemara taught me to do this.
Which is why saying the women might be conniving and the women might find the loopholes.
Correct. It goes full circle. Okay, right.
You have people who need to retire. They can't work X amount of hours or else they don't get their benefits if they work more.
Hey, that type of thing. Right.
Women-owned businesses.
Yeah. Ravasi, okay, that's 2. 3. Ravasi Rabbi Yochanan says, Amasi Eitza Limkar ben Nechasim U'atin. He gives an Eitza to Yisayimim who just yarshined money to sell their nechasim. What is this talking about? If you have, basically, girls don't yarshin, right? Only boys. But if there's girls that are yisaimus, so then the boys' money has to go to feed the girls before they could take any of their money. So, but if a guy comes and tells the yisayim, by the way, if you sell your Yerusha right now, before the girls need to be supported or before they figure it out, then you get to keep the profits, right? So that's what the guy tells the assignment to do, so that the girls get shafted, right? So what they sold, they sold. So the guy to give this eitzah so that they get out of feeding their sisters is also a Russia. Fine. Abai Omar and the same type of thing. Is a guy who gives an eitzah to sell all his nechasim. Rav Shimon Gamliel. What's this case? The Tanya nichsi loch v'acharecha leploni. Basically, a guy says he has a complicated will. He says, I'm giving all my money to A, and then when A dies, he's got to give all his money to B. So the question is, if A is smart, he'll just sell whatever the Yerusha was or get rid of the Yerusha, and nothing goes to Shimon, right? Nothing goes to the second guy. So the question is he allowed to do that or not? So nichsilach ba'acharecha leploni, right? The guy says, my nechasim are to you, and then after you, it goes to somebody else. The first guy goes down and sells everything, and he eats it up. Hasheni maitzim yada lekuchas. The Tanakama holds it doesn't help him. The second guy can go take it from the people that bought from the first guy, and because he could say it belongs to me. Divrei Rebbe, Rav Shimon Gamliel Amar ein l'sheni ela ma sheshai rishon. The sheni only gets whatever the first guy left over, and if the first guy left over nothing, then the second guy is up the creek. So a guy who gives the eitzah to do like Rav Shimon Gamliel is not right. Now, does that mean that Rav Shimon Gamliel is not right? No, Rav Shimon Gamliel is saying that that's the halacha. Doesn't mean you should do it, but that's the halacha. Fine. The fourth case, Rabbi Yosef bar Chama Amar Rav Sheshes Zeh Machriya Acherem Bar Chosef. That's somebody who gets people to go in his way, right? Even though this is your classic Ponzi scheme. You get people to much of you, and then you sucker them, right? Rabbi Zrika Amar Rav Huna Zeh La'atzma Yumachmer La'acher. This one I have a tough time with. That's somebody who's makel for himself and he's machmer for others. Meaning you have a rabbi he himself is makel. He tells everybody else that they got to be machmer. So when it comes to Pesach time, this bothers me a lot because certain things that I don't do, and a person asks me and they automatically assume that they have to be machmer. So I just answer them lefi their chumrah. I don't go and tell them, by the way, I'm makel on this because, or maybe I should. I don't know. Maybe I should, right? If they're assuming that they're machmer, so then why rock the boat, right? But that's not what this is exactly saying. This is saying that a person is for himself when the shaila comes up, he's makel, and for others he's machmer. Fine. Ula Amar zeh onto the this is a major yesod right here. This is somebody who learned. And Shana, he learns Mishnayos, he learns Psukim and Mishnayos, but he's not Mishamash Talmidei Chacham. That type of guy is going to be a Rasha because he's not going to be clear in his psak because he has no Shemesh. And Memela, he's going to cause people to not paskin the correct way. And this happens 1,000%. You got certain guys that they just learn Shulchan Aruch, and a lot of times what says in Shulchan Aruch is not necessarily the way we paskin, depending on the scenario. You have to have Shemesh. And if you don't have shimush from rabbis, then it doesn't work. It just doesn't work, and you end up being krum. Anyways, on that note, we will call it a night.
It's not such a chiddush. We know that Selech Harav is very,
Yeah, it's true. It's true, but this is talking specifically in psak. You're going to get the right. You're not going to get the right mahalach in the psak unless you have Rebbeim to tell. I've had many things where I thought what I came out the psak with one thing. I spoke to my Rebbeim, like Rav Harfinis, Rav Bill David, and they said, nah, that ain't the way it goes. I said, why not? That's just the way we paskin. Okay, what should I tell you? That's why you go to the rabbis. That's why you go to them.
All the years
Aaron, that's why I tell you can't ask me every sixth question. You want to ask me, don't ask me every sixth time. You know what I mean?
As all the time,
generation.
Your father, he always said, "God That's it. He brought this up all the time. Yeah.
Anyways,
so I figured out, Aaron. I figured out all these Hasidic rabbis. They're telling everybody not the brach, not the brach. They're eating matzah in plastic bags. You go into their seder and they're eating matzah balls. That would be a
Yeah, but I don't think that's
imagine it. I can imagine. Oh, no.
That's a good mushal. Lamaisa, it's a good mushal. People ask, like, okay, how many? When the charts for the shiurim, so I have to eat this much, that much, and I'll tell them whatever they say with the shiurim. But me myself, I don't make charts. I don't do anything. I just give it out. Right? Point. It's a good point. Anyways, the oilam should have themselves a fine clock. Bez Hashem. Give or take 8 o'clock. Yeah. Have a good night. Yeah. What do you say?
Talking about shiurim, I was really struggling over Pesach. I don't know why I'm so machmer on the tzlach, but even with the tzlach, how does it make sense that our kazesim, you're supposed to be able to fit 2 kazesim in your mouth at once? That's a gemara.
I can't do that. I can't.
That's a gemara.
Yeah. I don't know.
I hear. I can't either. That's what I'm asking about. I don't get it.
Yeah. All right. Have a good night, everybody.
Two matzo balls.
But Yaakov, if you notice the last Rashi when it's talking about this person that's more that doesn't learn Mishnayos, the reason why he's called Rosh is because he's taking covered, even though he's not a real Talmud Chacham.
So Yaakov has left the Zoom.
Oh, he has left the building? Oh, for you, Rahman.
All right, guys, I'm also leaving. I have another shear.